Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes. Well, one and all, very, very warm welcome indeed to the Global Entrepreneurship Congress 2025. Yes. So we've made it. We're in Indiana. We've had the warmest of welcome, haven't we, everybody? Can we have a round of applause for our hosts in Indiana? Absolutely smashing it. Thank you very much for having us. My name's Ollie. Thank you for choosing this workshop session. It's early. For some of you, it's probably still the middle of the night. I get it. So with each other's help, we'll leave with some good connections, some good ideas, and hopefully some good insights. So thank you for choosing this. By way of introduction, I'm a serial co-founder. I was involved in the first ever Global Entrepreneurship Week. I helped design the signature activity Speed Network the Globe, which was frankly exhausting. And a few years after that, I co-founded the UK campaign with Number 10 Downing Street, Startup Britain. So I have a deep passion for supporting entrepreneurs, and you won't find a bigger fan of the Global Entrepreneurship Network than me. So thank you for being here. Thank you for giving your energy to this session. My secret plan, just to get it out there, we had the idea with the team that rather than the first sessions being all on the plenary stage, we'd make them workshops because we want to get you connecting with each other as soon as possible. So with your permission, yes, I hope this will look and feel like a workshop, but it might also feel like a mixer as well and a chance to get to know each other. Do I have your support on that? Okay, good. So that is our secret plan. So we're going to fire up 3 different engines over the next hour and a quarter, okay? The first engine is a connector engine, okay? And we're going to get you meeting people you haven't met before. The second engine we're going to fire up is an insight engine, because our bold question is campaigns that inspire new entrepreneurs. And before we get creative, we want to get your insights. What have you learned, things big and small, in your work, looking around the world? What are the insights that you've learned that are personal to you about campaigns that inspire new entrepreneurs? So that's going to be firing up our insight engine, okay? And then the final engine, we're building up to the big one, is our creative engine, okay? And I'm going to be encouraging us to come up with bold ideas which combine ingredients, which feed into campaigns to inspire new entrepreneurs. So I will reveal all as we go along. So I'm going to introduce a colleague in a minute, but first I've got a feeling I just want to get you connecting already. So in a second, I will introduce you to Mark Marich from the Global Entrepreneurship Network. Can we hear it from Mark Marich, everybody? Mark's here. But I want Mark to get a sense of the potential energy in this room. So if you'd all be upstanding in 1 second for me, I'm going to ask you a question. And it is this. What is one of your wildest personal or professional ambitions? That's pretty intense, isn't it, for 9:15? Yeah. Okay. You're going to be sharing it with someone you've probably never met before, and not the person you've just had your initial conversation with. So everyone stand up, pair off with someone you've never met, and share one of your boldest personal or professional ambitions, and you've got 2 minutes to do it. Let's go. Well, it's filled up. Maybe if you help pick someone off for me. So I'm just going to go, I want to get a couple of examples. Yeah. If I see them, I'll get a handheld to them, but we might want to go over to them. Yeah. What do you need me to do? Oh, okay. And then I'll run this out to them. Yeah. Okay, everybody, if we could pause briefly. Okay, here we are. All right, that's it. Nicely done. Thank you, Team Jen. So now let's stay standing for just a minute because we've got to get on with it, haven't we? Did anyone hear something that made you think, "Wow, that's bold. That's pretty cool"? You don't have to point at the person who said it, but maybe just if you wouldn't mind, Mark. How about it? Would you mind sharing what you heard? Blossom, was it who heard it? Who heard it? Go for it, Blossom.
Hi, this is Justice, and he is starting a new business exporting sea moss from St. Lucia.
Sea monsters?
Sea moss.
Oh, sea moss. I do apologize. Oh, sea moss. I'm liking that already.
I know.
Very nice. And have you launched the business so far?
Yes, I have.
Great. What's it called?
Just Gel.
Just Gel. Can we have a round of applause for Just Gel, everybody? It could be the hashtag for our mixer, couldn't it? Just Gel. Did anyone hear anything else that inspired them, that made you think, wow, yes, please, let's go over here?
This beautiful young woman wants to be the next Oprah,
Yes!
and I believe she can do it.
And whilst we're replacing you in our minds, tell us your name, please.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Leah Moore. Right now, I'm not Oprah, but before I become Oprah, I have a company called Coolavo. I make cooling travel products for hotels, resorts, corporations, and it has a special zipper pocket where you can put your phone and valuables. So if you're looking to buy in bulk for a hotel, resort, or corporation, come see me.
This is amazing. Fantastic. Right, first guy. Well, we could do a whole session. We should do a whole session feeding back on bold ambitions, but we won't. We'll pause there. Please have a seat. Maybe we'll get some more going later. Thank you. And what's your company called again? Coolavo. I like that very much. Right. Okay. Right. Welcome. Right. So stand by because I think we fired up. You feel we fired up our connection engine a bit, right? We'll keep that going, and we're going to start to fire up our insights engine. So what have we learned? What have we distilled? And I'll tell you more about it. But just to help set the scene on why this matters, someone that I get to collaborate with, and I thoroughly enjoy doing so, is from the Global Entrepreneurship Network itself. Let's hear it from Mark Marriage, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Ollie, for being here. Thank you all for being here. I see a lot of familiar faces in this room. I see a lot of new faces, too. So just quick introduction, and then I'm going to turn you back over to Ollie. You're in the best hands. As he's mentioned, we've been kind of connected and working together now for, 18 years-ish? So you're in great hands in terms of kind of facilitating this conversation. I'm super excited to hear what you're all coming up with. I'm a co-founder of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. A little bit of a personal story. Most of you don't know this, but I'm a native Hoosier, actually. So I was born and raised in this state. It is a complete coincidence that we're all here today for the Global Entrepreneurship Congress, but I'm super excited about it, and I'm glad you're here. In terms of our discussion today, most of you know us and our brand and our organization through a program that we've run for 18 years now called Global Entrepreneurship Week. It's a campaign. It started off as a campaign to inspire and connect and support the next generation of entrepreneurs everywhere, no matter where they are. You don't have to be in Silicon Valley. You don't have to be in Shanghai. You don't have to be in London. You can start and thrive anywhere in the world. And so we all share this mission. We're all really excited about it. And as I said, we've run Global Entrepreneurship Week for about 18 years now. You all have been committed to this same mission, and we want to learn from you. What do you have? What are you doing? How are you lifting up entrepreneurs no matter where you are? We want to take what you're kind of coming up with today, we want to infuse that in our own work. But we also want you to share that information with everybody else in the audience so that way you could take it home too. So that's our shared purpose here today. That's enough from me. Back over to Ollie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. So what we are obviously not very secretly building towards is our creative engine, where we are going to be sharing what we think are bold ideas, and by we, I mean you and all of us, bold ideas that will and can inspire new entrepreneurs. But before we get creative, we feel it's so important to harvest insights before that, because all of those then fuel our ongoing creativity. So here is a series of prompts and questions. My suggestion initially was that we were going to work in groups of 4 for this, but I leave it to you. You're a rowdy bunch, as my grandmother would have said, which is wonderful. But if you feel that for noise reasons or just your own personal preference, you'd rather just pair up for this, totally up to you. If you'd rather be in 3s, 2s, 3s, 4s, whatever works, but you might have a sort of comfort level around that. So this is our insight engine. Here are some pithy questions, and feel free to give pithy answers to them too. What worked in inspiring entrepreneurs? What didn't work or fell flat? What surprised you? So it's some of those unlikely insights. I never would have thought it. You know, I started the UK's largest schools entrepreneurship challenge. And in the first year, we gave out 10,000 £10 notes to 10,000 school kids. And we said, you've got 1 month to make money and make a difference. We now do it in primary schools. It's called Fiverr. We've given out hundreds and hundreds of thousands of £5 notes. And the unlikely insight for me on that Fiverr campaign was that how much the kids make is much less important than how the challenge makes them feel about themselves. Now, forgive me, that might seem terribly obvious to a group of ecosystem builders and supporters, but it wasn't obvious to us when we started. We were so obsessed by how much they made, we didn't pay enough attention to its potential to change the way they felt about themselves forever. So that was an unlikely insight for us. But what are yours? And what would you give to someone launching a new campaign in your country and another country? So we're going to work on this for about 15 or 20 minutes, okay? So feel free to scratch down some insights on your Post-its. We can put them up. We've got some boards around the room. If you think that's a great one, go and put it on some of these main boards, okay? But the most important thing is you emerge from this 20 minutes with a fresh set of insights that you've shared and that you've learned. So feel free to do it in 2s, 3s, 4s. I'll call you back in about 15 to tell you you've got about 5 minutes to go. And feel free to switch it up around your tables as well. All right. I'll see you shortly. Good luck.
What's your accent? Where are you from? UK.
Okay, everybody. Thank you. If I could draw your attention back, thank you. And by the way, thanks so much for leaning into this first session. Massively appreciated. I'm pausing briefly to do a quick harvest of insights. I'm particularly interested in things that are going to make it up onto one of our boards up here. So your challenge is, we could have multiple per table, but just to say, the session overall, let's think of it as under the Chatham House rules. So nothing should be shared, or nothing certainly should be attributed outside this room without the permission of the person who said it. And there I'm talking about the table conversations. So what you're discussing on the tables. Anything said on the mic from now is captured, if you like. So please don't say anything into the mic now that you wouldn't mind being shared beyond these four walls. Especially if it's about one of the things that didn't work, etc. All right, so my steer on this is just let's get really super pithy. Feel free to just give the little teaser because we can come back to you in conversation over the next 3 days for more. Who heard an insight that made you think, yes, this is interesting? Yeah, and let's get sharing. Show us your hands around the room and the team will help. I'll come over to you. By the way, forgive me, feel free to say who you are, where you're from. You don't have to.
Kat Long, Ponca City, Oklahoma. So this was a great one that was shared with us, and I didn't catch your name. John Metlosa. So this was a workshop they did for training reporters on how to report on entrepreneurship and small enterprises. And how they engaged them was, after 3 months of this reporting, they had a competition for the reporters, and they were judged on it by a panel. So I thought that was really great because the small enterprises and the entrepreneurs were able to receive free publicity while these guys were trying to make a little bit of money on the side from the competition. So
love that. So conceptually brilliant. John, what additionally was the secret to the success of that initiative, if you were being immodest?
I think just the prize money that was available for the reporters. Normally they get a salary, and so...
So there you go, commercial incentive, there you go. All right, we'll leave that there for now. Thank you, John. There was an offer over here. Thank you, Vincent. Just behind you. Welcome, hello.
Hi there, Rebecca from Indiana. One of the things that we were talking about through the Insight Engine was launching the new campaign, things that you discover and talk through with other entrepreneurs or newly up and rising. And it's the authenticity, making sure they're getting in that corner first, coming out with their true self before they go after it in a different fashion and lose energy and traction.
No, really interesting, just very grounding as an experience. Great. Does anyone want to add to that from your group or on your table? Is that good? We will keep looking. Yeah, go on, please.
I'll just say real quick. Piggybacking on the authenticity thing, what I love about entrepreneurship is you get to see people be who they are with no restrictions, and it's the most exciting thing ever. If you can think of like the best concert you've ever been to and the performance of the artist, they have like they're just being completely themselves with no restriction. I think we have the opportunity to do that as entrepreneurs, and that's when we really like excel.
Yeah, an amazing opportunity to see people come fully alive. I think there was an offer just across the table as well, Vincent. Is that still there? Welcome. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Jordan from St. Lucia. One of the things we came up with was that a lot of the times in schools, school-age children, I think you can start offering more programs to young kids and let them realize that entrepreneurship is an option as well, as opposed to just a traditional job. And then off of that, we also realize that when you are in a traditional job, sometimes you want to transition into entrepreneurship. So there may be programs that can assist with that. Like for me, for example, that's what happened to me. I had to figure out a lot of things, and the transitioning was difficult. So that could be another
Superb. I remember asking a class to guess how many companies were formed in Britain every month. The guess was 20. The answer at the time was 60,000. Wow. Just not having that on their radar and say. So let's go to the other side. I've seen you here, thank you. On the far side, who's got an insight that you thought, yes, that's an absolute zinger? I sense some creativity over here. Hands, who will share? Something they shared or something they heard? Yes.
Hi, Steve Aitchler from the UK. These two wonderful people are just inspiring next to me. But what came out for me really strongly was sharing the art of the possible. So many people don't understand what is possible through entrepreneurship. They've never been exposed to it. Share the art of the possible and you'll inspire people.
Love that. Would any of either of you add to that in terms of things that you wouldn't have known before doing what you did? Any advice you'd offer to others on that? Please, that's kind. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie from Kentucky. And that really resonated with me a lot because I'm a first-generation entrepreneur. And thank you. And so I struggled a lot with even having support from family because it was the question of why are you stepping out from a job that pays you, that's secure, to try to do your own thing? And pretty much everyone told me that I was going to fail. And so I started to believe that at times, but I knew that I had to prove them wrong. So I just kept going. And so now I'm here trying to learn more from everyone else.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much indeed. First class. So there's the art of the possible, authenticity, but also that idea of realizing that not everyone, even around the family dinner table, might be approving of what you're setting out to do. Thank you. That's a very bold share. Thank you. If this offer still stands, thank you.
Please stand up.
Hey, I'm Julie Grabby, trademark attorney. One of the things we were talking about was networking, but not just networking, generous networking, informal networking where it doesn't feel intimidating to people just coming in, and really giving, right? Giving of yourself, giving of your knowledge, and that seems to really be the authentic way to help people go forward and be confident in what they're doing.
And to build on that, would anyone be able to share an insight, and feel free to carry on how you create that environment for networking which doesn't put people off, which doesn't seem too scary? How do we make those environments more accessible? Any insight that, please, yes, one and two? Yeah, lots of offers. Yeah, please. Thank you, Vincent. We've got our steps happening today.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, humbled to be here. Before I give you my insight, a big applause for this gentleman here, Jonathan. We blame it on him by being here.
Yeah, you're used to seeing the president of Gen on stage, not listening in the corner. This is great.
And for me, is the art of networking.
Yeah, no, 100%.
From a networking perspective, what I found out around the world, I'm involved in a couple of initiatives, we always tend to be working in silos by definition. You know, I'm based in Nice. We do our own thing in Nice. Somebody else in Ireland, Cambridge, US, wherever. So what we did from a networking perspective to do real spirit of cross-border involvement and make sure that the networking is efficient, we created this interesting event called International Venture Academy, where in Nice, in France, they all speak French, right? So we wanted to everybody around the English language. So we get our friend from Ireland to come in with 2 startups, our friend from Germany, from Scandinavia, from Cairo, to come and pitch for 3 days. Nice. Mentorship, cross-border investment, and this is how the art of networking is all about.
Amazing. Please, can we come?
Thank you. Of course.
Yes, thank you very much.
He's welcome.
Yeah, that's kind. Jonathan, please. And by the way, he's actually the best listener I know in the field of entrepreneurship, and that's probably why this network has grown like Topsy. But can we have a huge round of applause for Jonathan Ortmans, who's here? Jonathan, would you, I know you might be off with various different other sessions, so I don't want you to sneak out without me getting your take on our big theme here, because we're about to fire up our creative engines, but also on some of the insights you've been hearing as well.
No, this is fantastic. You can tell that I'm a little biased towards this session. I'm going to be in here as much as I can, partly because inspiring and lighting the candles in the hearts and minds of as many people around the world, that this isn't something that's about marketing and spreadsheets and profit. It's about solving problems and improving the lives of other people around you, while at the same time carving out your own prosperity. And so I think for me, this session and the repeat session is all about what words do you use? As you said, what ideas to use. How do you talk to the press? I love that idea about, how do we help them to describe what it is we do? Because I still feel like there's so much potential in the world of people that could be building, creating, solving at a time when there's so many people that are destroying and sadly are in very difficult situations because of a lot of our geopolitical pressures. So I think what you're doing is wonderful here. I love that idea. I want to hear more ideas, if we can, about, for example, what words that work. There's actually a little secret I figured out. If you look at how the president of this country became president and you tap it back, there's actually 2 or 3 books. There's one called Words That Work. And I went back and looked at it. It came out a long time ago. And it's actually all the words in there clearly use those words that would resonate within this country, and we're talking about the American public, but of course here we're talking globally. But what are the words that are going to inspire someone who doesn't know anything about entrepreneurship to say, maybe I should, maybe there's something here for me, As you said, I'm going to take a risk and leave that secure job, and I'm going to be willing to give it a try, So what are the words? What are the narratives? The narratives is a little bit more PR, and I get we have to do that. But what's the message at the end of the day, and the tactics for delivering that message? Because at the end of the day, this isn't about PR or anything else. But Gen was built on the communities that celebrated Global Entrepreneurship Week.
So can we carry on, Jonathan?
Yep.
Because I want to spring off that challenge to the room. Why don't we each turn to our neighbours? So this will be a 2-minute exercise, but in pairs. What are the words that work? If I go back to the precursor to Global Entrepreneurship Week, Enterprise Week, the strapline happened to be unleashing ideas.
Yep.
That was the hashtag, unleashing idea. But what have you discovered? So tell your neighbor, and then we'll get 5 from the room. Tell your neighbor, and then we've got a whole room of words that work, and then we'll get some.
Let me pick up on that word neighbor. What are the words that work? And remember, you're not talking to each other, because each of you are here, so you're already evangelists of entrepreneurship. So you're not convincing it. Actually, I like the neighbor. Okay, so what is going to convince your neighbor that the world that you love and operate in is one that they may want to come and kick the tires for? What might inspire them to say, hey, I'll go to one of these free community events and see if I get ignited by this or not?
Enticing words that work. Let's just do a couple of minutes on it, and then we'll have a go. All right, everybody, forgive me pausing. We could do a whole workshop on words that work, couldn't we? Okay, who will share some words that work? Let's go. Yeah, right in the middle here. Thank you. And then I'm coming right to the back. I see you.
Hello, Javed from Jamaica. I think 2 of the words is around impact and around purpose. And both of them resonated with me because I think increasingly it's around what kind of impact you can have on the communities that you're trying to serve. So I love those.
100% love that. Thank you very much indeed. How about just at the back here? I see you there. Yes. Just thank you, Vincent.
Yeah, I'm Robin Bertner. I'm from Pennsylvania. I would say some interesting words that I wrote down. One would be co-opetition. I've used that a lot with people to remind them that there's no harm in coming together as a group to discuss similar businesses because you're all in it together. It's not necessarily competition. And another one would be that support system and the impact. Somebody said that. I like to use societal impact a lot, and just the community, that we are bringing our community up. So.
Thank you, Robin. We'll spin around a bit. We've got a couple here, just on this table, maybe in the green, and then across to Peter here.
Hi, I'm Marisol from Topeka, Kansas. And I think a word that would resonate with me in the funeral industry would be service. Service for others, serving our community.
First class, fantastic. Yes. Gosh, and that's the business that you're in, is it?
The funeral industry, yes.
Gosh,
yes.
How interesting. Right, so I got questions for you about that. Thank you. Not that I'm planning anything, I might add. Sorry. Heaven forbid. Peter.
Stand up, please. Yeah, of course, thank you. Not sure how to follow that. Peter from London, England. Freedom. We talked about freedom. Freedom from a bad employer, freedom to put food on the table, freedom to do something new and different.
Yeah, exactly. And the opposite of just feeling stuck, constrained, trapped. Yeah, love that. Please, Bill, please.
Rich Smith, Tallahassee, Florida. We talked a lot, we actually mentioned freedom as well. Impact, so we actually embrace that. We created a conference. So in our community, it's called Impact Week, and it's during Global Entrepreneurial Week. So we are partnering with GEN. So I'm a GEN community organizer. So it's just getting in your community. So I love all those words: impact, community, value. So if you're creating something in your community, there has to be value so that you get people to come. So we really embrace the value.
Yeah. Helpful, thank you. Why don't we do one more? I feel I've slightly neglected this corner. Yes, please. Very helpful, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Imani Ellis. I'm from Gary, Indiana. Woo woo, about 2 hours. Michael Jackson's hometown. Can we clap it up? Okay, cool. So up in Gary, Indiana, some words that have worked for us is underserved and side hustle. We're in a community where everyone has side hustles but don't know they might be entrepreneurs. And so side hustle has worked as well as underserved. If you, regardless to underrepresented or not population, you might not be getting served properly, and that helps resonate with the folks up north.
Love that. And if I may observe, it's less intimidating as well.
Correct.
Isn't
Correct.
it? It's not scaling Everest on day one. Is that an offer down here, please? Thank you for that one.
Good morning. I'm John from right here in Indianapolis, basically. Lafayette, where Purdue is. Lots of innovation up there. My friend Freddie and I came up with two different words. His was autonomy. And he asked me, isn't autonomy the same as freedom? And I said, no, it's not actually. Autonomy is about me and my ability to do what I believe my gifts are. And just and then my word is change. Change is possible. No one is going to actually buy anything from you or agree with anything you're doing if they don't believe that what you're offering can actually be meaningful change. So change and autonomy.
Thank you, John. First class. Thank you. Lots more offers. Let's just take one more, and then we go to our next engine chapter. Thank you. Just at the back here. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is LaFerris Risby, and I am from Junction City, Kansas. And it would be community stabilizer would be the word that we utilize, because we workforce. If we don't do our jobs, then there is not going to be a workforce.
Yeah, really powerful. Community stabilizing. Thank you very much for that. Right, so stand by, because we're going to fire up the creative engines for our final just over half an hour together. But what I thought we could do is, in 30 seconds, let's all stand up. Let's just share the number one insight you've heard so far this morning, not on the mic, but in any scenario, one that you shared, one that you heard, and my generous colleagues, perhaps one or two from each table, if you wouldn't mind putting some words that work or an insight onto one of these boards, particularly on that words that work, because that is an important part of a campaign in terms of communications. But we'll take maybe 4 or 5 minutes, literally just to stand up, socialize, cross-pollinate a lot of these insights, put up some words that work, I hope, and then we'll get the creative engines going. All right, let's take 5, be upstanding, and let's share with each other. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Thanks, everyone. Have a seat. Thank you very much. Lots of good sharing, lots of good words here. Art of possibility. Profit with purpose, like that a lot. Okay, thanks, everyone. Come and have a seat. And we're going to get running into our final. Thank you. This is super helpful. Thank you. Because this isn't, with all due respect to our agency colleagues, this isn't a marketeer dreaming up something that they think would work. This is hard-won insights from people who have been there and done it. So thank you. Right, this is the final section now. We're going to get creative. Back to my earlier suggestion on whether you prefer to do this in 2s, 3s, 4s, whatever suits you this morning. I'm a great believer that creativity is really connecting things, connecting dots. So here is my, or our creative engine challenge. And again, our grand theme is campaigns that inspire new entrepreneurs. So let's return to that. But your challenge is to frame an idea using the ABC here, which is imagine a campaign where A, which is a person or an organization or a community, and B are doing C. So C is the thing, the action, yeah, to inspire new entrepreneurs. Let's have an example. Speed Network the Globe, back in the first Global Entrepreneurship Week, in I think 52 countries we got it going in, was school children having 3-minute speed networking meetings with local business people. Yeah, so the activity, C was speed networking, you get it. Okay, but open your mind. Feel free to go into the gold mine of what's worked, or feel free to get a bit or very creative. How about this? And I remind you, what you're putting out on the tables is under the Chatham House rules. So feel free to take risks with ideas. And when we share, and don't get bogged down with the 2-minute pitches. That would be ideal later in the Congress. But for now, even boiling it down into a ABC 20, 30-second version is good, okay? And rather than, I would say, because you're very energized, so thank you for that, I wouldn't necessarily even just get bogged down in doing one formula. Feel free to cycle through a few if you would prefer to. So we'll spend about 15 minutes, but we need to be hyper-productive. So thank you for leaning into this particular section. So A, B, and C, if you'd like to do it in 2s, 3s, 4s, completely up to you. We want as many of these as possible. And what we're looking for is one that will get our colleagues going, we could do that. Okay, we could do that. That really would inspire new entrepreneurs. And by the way, on organization, it could be a type of organization, or you might choose, particularly to spark our imagination, to name a specific organization, either because that is the one you have in mind, or you think that will help us really visualize it and dream about it. Okay, so A plus B. Any questions? Is that clear? A plus B doing C. All in service of campaigns that inspire new entrepreneurs. Let's have a hyper-creative 15-minute cycle through as many as you like, but feel free to hone them, share them more widely on the table, and then we'll have time to share a dozen or so at the end. Let's go, 15 minutes, let's go. Thank you. Okay, everybody, I'm very conscious I'm going to be interrupting, so apologies if you're mid-flow. Thank you. Right, we have got 15 minutes to whistle through some ABCs. By the way, has anyone ever been complimented, unlike me, on their handwriting? Has anyone ever heard? You got really nice hand. Oh, you see what I'm trying to do there, don't you? You know, you see? That's an entrepreneur, one step ahead. Who, or put another way, who will generously offer to be one of my 2 scribes for this session? And then I will love you for. Yes, amazing. Thank you. Round of applause. There you go. And I need another one here, another one, hands in the air. Yeah, go on. That's very generous of you. It doesn't mean you can't share an idea as well. Right. Let's go through the ABC. So A plus B doing C, and we'll go lightning around. I'm going to harvest one from a table, and if we have time for another round, then we'll do it. Please, here we are. If that's an offer there, and we're going to be pithy and snappy, and we'll cheer you on as we go. Let's go.
All right. So Robin from Pennsylvania again. So one thing that I have done that my team members here really liked, and they wanted me to talk about, is my small business internship initiative that I started. I'd worked on it for years, and I finally got some legislators to want to give me an earmark, so that was finally, I could launch it. But when you think about that next generation, they're probably going to be in college, right? And they're going to get some internships, and the Career Center or the internship coordinator is going to go for the low-hanging fruit, which is the large corporations, right? And so then they're just going to be in there working in just the accounting office at Volvo or whatever it might be. And so the small business internship initiative I started, and like I said, legislators love this too, which is very important when you're working in this world, is to have a student that would be able to go in and work in a small business. We're talking anywhere from 20 to 100 employees. But you might be sitting next to the owner. You're going to be doing marketing one day. You're going to be doing accounting, and they get to learn so much of the variety of stuff. So that's my.
Thank you, Robin. That's excellent. And if only to humour my formatting, Robin, if you had to distill that into ABC, go on, because I want to understand the combination that makes it zing.
Yeah, so I would say A is me, right? Like bringing the right people together. B would be the Career Center and the businesses. Yep. I mean, I guess we have a couple of pluses here. And then C would be the internships to students. Yeah. Yes, and then they're learning.
And now we won't have time to delve, but has anyone else had experience with an internship program putting young people into entrepreneurial businesses? Raise your hand. You got that experience? Quite a lot in the room. Helpful. Thank you. Very helpful. Right, let's go back corner, Mark. Yes. Yeah, I see a couple of offers there.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we've been having a fascinating conversation. I'm from Bloomington, Indiana University, and I'm actually a musician, so here we go. We've been having a fascinating conversation about a community in Arizona that has an opportunity to completely reinvent itself with a mine, but the community is very ecology focused, very careful about the environment. And so how do how do you navigate transformational change in a community by harnessing the mindset of the entire community. So we're calling it Launch Local. That's what the name of this model is. And it's basically leaning into the power of the typical business mindset, the entrepreneurial, the innovative mindset, and the artists who work cumulatively together to form an identity of transformational change that reimagines what might be possible. So that's
love that. So they're connecting with each other. And what do they cook up together? Or is it about the relationship itself?
An example that sort of set the stage for this was that the community was trying to come to terms with imagining what might be possible, and they had a pitch competition. And interestingly enough, members of the community who stepped forward were a dance ensemble, as well as a community business. So in other words, they already embraced this idea. They have this sort of set identity of a community that embraces the artistic mindset, now moving into a space where the business-focused mind will take over, but how can they maintain the identity of the community by leaning in proactively and intentionally combining their creative forces?
Excellent, thank you. All the right entrepreneurial moves. Very good, thank you very much. Dan, who's it? Patty, I see.
Hello, everyone. I am Patty from Indiana, and I work for Ivy Tech Community College. And one of the things that we've been trying to do is work with established entrepreneurs to be able to come up with different kinds of skills training for new entrepreneurs. And so that's a little bit boring. And so I wanted some help in how can we really make that meaningful to new entrepreneurs to want to be able to connect. And we talked about having some of these really quick sessions where we can say, what is your idea? Let's put that on the back of a napkin and talk through that with a group, very much like we're doing here. And, take a half an hour, take an hour to say, how do we take my concept from being in my mind to actually speaking it, getting that support, growing our network. I mean, you could do all of those kinds of things in just really quick sprints of being able to take an idea and making it flourish. So we can take that training and I think put it into this mindset of, hey, let's get together and really do this as a team instead of feeling like we're alone doing this.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you. That feels like an invitation to break bread as well, doesn't it? I once did a speaker tour in South Africa called the Espresso Sessions, and the event finished at 9:30 a.m. Fabulous. All around that idea generation. Now, how about, much as we adore our hosts here in Indiana, somebody from not inside the US sharing an idea of an ABC on your table? Does that still stand? Great. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Vincent.
Hi, everyone. I'm Latonia. I'm from Barbados. So what we work through here, quickly, there's a community college who will looking to target 10 to 12th graders for the U.S., which is 16 to 18-year-olds. And we're trying to inspire them into coming to an entrepreneurship camp, like summer camp, 3 days a week over the summer to get them into the entrepreneurial mindset space and hopefully eventually be able to launch their own business by the end of the camp. So that was our ABC and the 2-minute pitch. We pitched to each other to see which idea would more resonate with 18-year-olds, recognizing that the current generation is not about a 9-to-5, not about having set structure in terms of work. So young people want money. They don't necessarily want to work in the traditional sense. So that's why we pitched to each other in different ways to see which one would more resonate with the teenagers.
First, has anyone else, thank you, anyone else in the room had anything bordering an experience on a residential experience or like a camp style? Would you share a biggest insight from that? Something you learned? I'm putting you on the spot. Thank you.
Hi, Anna from London and Liverpool in England. I think when you get lots of young people together under the guise of like growing a mindset and having a social issue, we use the UN SDGs. Because lots of young people are really aligned to that. And we took them on lots of tours around places in Liverpool to see entrepreneurs in action. So they got lived experience, but they liked the social media competition. We got them all to create a film and they judged themselves and they won prizes. So it kind of got them engaged throughout the whole time.
Thank you, Anna. So we'd love to quiz you a bit more about that. Round of applause. Thank you very much. much for both of those. Love that ABC as well. Shall we go, maybe on the same table somewhere, if there's an offer there. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Peter from Nigeria. So I'm from the university, and the youngsters, truly, they love things that impact on the society. And so they are in a club where they want to take care of the environment. And so they come together with the museum in the university to work with corporates in the community to create some form of awareness around the environment. And so they use PET bottles and all of that to create an artistic stuff that organizations in the community that are very, that love to also support this kind of thing, to sponsor them to be able to create an artistic wall. So they created this plastic tunnel where people could walk through and then reminds them of the dangers of just using this. And then they take selfie and they post it and they talk about it. So that's the ABC.
And this is amazing. So, and you talk about this very powerfully. Is this something that's happened or something you were imagining?
It's actually happened. I have a photo of it, actually.
Amazing. We'd love to see that. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Let's carry on in this direction. I'm sure there are a lot of good ideas over here. Who will share an ABC on this table? It's very pursed-lipped, isn't it? Yes, that's kind, or feel free to point to a colleague and volunteer them. I always think that's good fun.
Hello again, Steve. So I'll do it in reverse order. So the C is going to focus on social media. We're going to do those short TikToks or reel videos, and featuring in the videos are going to be first-in-family entrepreneurs. So that person who's the first in the family to take that entrepreneurial journey. And the focus on the videos is going to be those silly questions and the mistakes that you've made along the journey, whether that's a tax that you forgot to pay or how you accidentally flooded your shop because you didn't ask a question from someone, and try and make them really engaging videos, but open up some of those challenges and some of those unshared fears about starting a business.
Love that. Really powerful. Thank you. Round of applause for that. Has anyone ever, just on that theme, I know we're pressed for time, but has anyone had experience of any sort of campaign around, now we're off mic, not, cock-ups, as we would say in the UK, things that didn't work? Dare I say, celebrating failure. Has anyone put that into a campaign? I'd love to get your insight on how that went, whether it resonated.
We ran a program called the Dead Startup Society in New Zealand. And we had all of our entrepreneurs who had dead startups bring their collateral, their business cards, objects that they'd had in their startup that they had never actually properly mourned for. It was really, really sweet. And people were crying. People were comforting each other. I myself brought one of my dead startups to this, and I found the experience cathartic. And everyone went forth from that as if they'd been to a funeral of their own relative. It was really beautiful. Well, come and talk to me if you want the formula.
Thank you. The Dead Startups. Oh, Captain, if only we knew an entrepreneur in the funeral business, then we...
So I'm Dave Moskowitz from New Zealand, as I say, come talk to me more if you want to.
Thank you. It could be reborn. Yes, please, carry on, Jordan.
Yeah, so in St. Lucia, I think it was last year during Global Entrepreneurship Week, Michelle, she's the one in St. Lucia that's in charge of Startup Huddle. She did something called Fail Forward. So that's where we had startups come to a gathering, and then we had experienced entrepreneurs come in and basically share their failures that they experienced during their early stages and give insights and guidelines as to what they can do to prevent those pitfalls from happening. So, yeah.
Fascinating separate deep dive on that into how to do that in a way that inspires and as opposed to off-puts and stuff. Let's have some more additions and other ABCs as well. We've got 6 minutes left.
Hi, thank you. I'm Kristen Kinzel from Wichita, Kansas. I started my company and expanded to 3 locations. And in doing so, I made all of the mistakes. And I learned constantly. So what I did is I took that and I formed a franchise. So now we are selling it as a franchise using all of our mistakes. So I took all of our mistakes and turned them into something good that we can prevent other people from doing going forward.
Excellent. Evolution, what's the name of the business?
Utopia Modern Salon Suites.
Oh, I love that. Sweets as in candies or bathrooms?
As in studio suites for beauty industry professionals.
Fabulous. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Let's get another thank you round of applause. We've got a let's get some more ABCs. Where haven't we been? Perhaps in this zone here? Yes. Yeah, someone's being volunteered here. I like that. Right, we're coming over. I'm not sure they've realised, but anyway, coming our way. Here we are. Thank you, Vincent. Yes, welcome.
Hi there, I'm Carrie from St. Francis, Kansas. Oh, sorry about that. We're a very small community out in northwest Kansas. We're struggling with successorship, and we've been telling our youth for decades to go out and make something of themselves and have forgotten that they needed to come back home or our communities were going to die. So a few ideas were brought up, and one of them was a homegrown program utilizing community resources to bring college kids back home after they've had their education. So.
Love that. And just by show of hands, anyone else in the room had experience with a campaign either that was in the business of keeping talent or bringing it back home? Hands up. Yeah, okay, just looking around for some fellow travelers there. Thank you. Let's have another ABC from somewhere in the center here, if we can land that here. And I'm looking for offers over here as well.
So again, Rich Smith, Tallahassee, Florida. I'll just leave you with a business model. So as entrepreneurs, we're always doing research and looking at other business models. So in the States, there's an organization called Junior Achievement. They have a summer camp. It's called Small Town, I believe, or BizTown. Elementary students actually come in and they create an entire town. They get to run the bank. They have a runoff for mayor. The point is, we heard some summer camps things, and we talked about the failures. So they get the experience. They come in with their dream job, their number one job in the town, and then they have to apply for it. They have to do a campaign. They have to vote for it. So they get to experience that failure if they don't get their dream job in the town. And these are repeat students, and they come back year after year. So it's a great program, good business model to look at if you're looking for something like that.
Love that. And does this take place within their school time or outside the school hours?
It's a summer camp, so after school.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, we are, thank you for that example. We're very happy to have the Chief Exec of Junior Achievement with us here at the GEC, who will be on stage later. And I had a very interesting chat with earlier today, so this is fantastic. Let's have another ABC from maybe a take. Yes, thank you for that.
Behind you.
Hello, my name is Fatima from Kansas, and I guess we've had an ABC and failure campaign. The failure campaign is actually my own personal journey. So we are the founders of the Grind Coaching and Consulting, a financial health practice, and I was triggered after my own personal experience. And with that, I guess we're A, the Grind Coaching and Consulting, but B is our nonprofit organizations that help underserved and marginalized communities. And together we're empowering individuals to take control and gain confidence and clarity through their finances.
Love that. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Where did you say you're based? In Kansas. Fantastic. Very good. Thank you. Round of applause for that one. We're scribing that up. All right. If there's a burning final ABC, I will have it. Otherwise, here's what I'm going to suggest. So two things. Firstly, in our final 2 minutes, why don't we just take a minute just to sit and think. No interaction, just think. There you go. Outrageous, heretical, some might say. But let's just do that for a minute before our closing word. Let's do that. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. So in closing, just a couple of very brief thoughts. Firstly, we're going to run this session again at the top of the hour, so at 11. A little bit like, your favorite Disney ride. If you would like to ride again, you would be welcome to. The format will be the same, pretty much, but I can guarantee the insights and ideas will be fresh. I'm not saying better, but certainly refreshed. And please do spread the word. If you think that somebody would benefit from this, why not WhatsApp them or share the insight that you gained? Because of course we'd love some buzz around that as well. If you found it valuable, please tell us and the team what you found valuable. And I'm going to ask us all just to be upstanding for the final bit, because as we leave the workshop space, I'd just love you to tell someone, one of your fellow guests, the thing you found most helpful about it, the thing you found will stay with you about the session. But for me, unbelievably generous of you to share your insights and your ideas so freely. Frankly, and I'm not being biased here, but we do have the plenary at 3, but for me, this was just a fabulous way to kick off a day in such an engaging and energetic way with such a brilliant group. So thank you very much indeed. See you a bit later. Thank you. And to recap, our next session will start at 11. And in the meantime, thanks to the whole team for making this work. Thank you.